Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to make another piece of pixel art. This time, I'm going to be showing you how to make an Xbox controller, and I will award 10 points to Gryffindor if any of you guys can tell me where you saw the controller before. I will give you a little bit of a hint. It's only likely that you guys that have played Minecraft on Xbox will know where it's from. If you want to make it, here's what you're going to need. You're going to need black wool, dark grey, light grey, white, dark green, lime green, yellow, dark blue, and finally, red wool. We will actually be needing one more colour later on, which is a little heartbreaking. I wish we had that one extra slot, but we'll just have to grab it as we need it. We don't need too much of it whatsoever anyway. So, once you've got your colours and once you've figured out where you want to make it, I'm going to be making it right here. You're going to want to start this off with a row of 7 black wool in a row on the floor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then, once you've got your row of 7, you're going to want to, from this right side here, you're going to want to do an upright diagonal. And then place 2 going right. 1, 2. Then, do another upright diagonal. Place 1 going right. Then, do another upright diagonal. Then place 8 going right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then, do another upright diagonal. And place 10 going right, 1, 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then do a bottom right diagonal. Place 8 going right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These next few instructions may seem a little familiar to you. Then do a bottom right diagonal. Place 1 going right. Then do another bottom right diagonal. Place 2 going right. Then do another bottom right diagonal, which is just placing a block on the floor here, and then do 6 going right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And let me just show you what that wants to look like. Once you've done that, you have made the base of your controller, and that shouldn't be too difficult. I know that seems like a lot, but it's not really too much. So just to reiterate that for you, since it's fairly important that you get this right, we started off with a 7, then did a 3, a 2, a 9, 11, 9, 2, 3, 7. Once you've done that, and pause this if necessary of course, it's time for us to work our way up the side. So I'm going to be starting on this left side first, quite predictably. I always start on the left. So where we started off with our row of 7, this time we're going to be starting on the left hand side of the row. And you're going to want to do 4 up left diagonals. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. On top of the 4th diagonal, you're going to want to place 3 on top. 1, 2, 3. Then do another up left diagonal. Place 4 on top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do an up right diagonal. Place 4 on top again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do another upright diagonal. Place 2 on top. 1, 2. Another upright diagonal. Place 2 on top. 1, 2. Do another upright diagonal. Place 1 on top. And that is going to be all that we do on the left side, in black at least, so I want to show you what we've just done. So we've made our way up 75% of the left outline of the controller. That's going to be black anyway, as I said, so you may want to make sure that you've got that right. Pause that if necessary, of course. That shouldn't be too hard for you at all. You've got 3 up left diagonals, then a row of 4, 5, 5, 3, 3, 2. Not too hard whatsoever, so pause this if necessary. Once you've done that, we're going to be returning to the top of what we've just made, except this time we're going to be using dark grey wool. So upright diagonally of this most top block right here, you're going to want to do an upright... that was kind of redundant, but you're going to want to do an upright diagonal from here with your dark grey. Then place 1 on top. Then you're going to want to do another upright diagonal. Place 1 on top. Then do another 2 upright diagonals. So 1, 2. From the second upright diagonal, you're going to want to go right by 10. 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You're then going to want to do a bottom right diagonal, and then go down by 2. 1, 2. You're then, from that bottom block that you've just placed, you're going to want to go left of that block by 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You're then going to want to do a bottom left diagonal and go left by 2. 1, 2. You're then left of that last dark grey block that you placed, you're going to want to place a white, and underneath that white you're going to want to place a dark grey. And once you have done that, you have successfully made the left bumper. Not too difficult whatsoever, I would think. So pause that if necessary. Once you've done that, we're going to be building a little bit more of the outline until we work our way up the right hand side. So once you have done that, and I'm pretty sure I've already said this, but pause this if necessary, it's time to work our way over to the right a little bit. So from this bottom right hand corner of the left bumper, this block that I'm highlighting right now, you're going to want to place a dark grey underneath it, then place a dark grey to the right of that dark grey. You're then going to want to do a bottom right diagonal, and place one going right. Then you're going to want to do 2 bottom right diagonals, 1, 2, place one going right. You're then going to want to do another bottom right diagonal, and then place 10 going right, 1, 0. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. To give you something which should look a little bit like that, and I just want to point something out, and I was going to do this a little later on. That row of 11 that you've just done there, 1 plus 10, 11, should be in line with the row of 11 that you have on the bottom of the controller. I kind of wanted to point that out before we went any further, just so that you can make sure that you've got that right. So, continuing on, once you've done your row of 11, you're going to want to, from this right hand side, do an upright diagonal, place one going right, then do 2 more upright diagonals, 1, 2. From the second one, you're going to want to go right by 1. Then you're going to want to do an upright diagonal, and then place one going right. So you're going to want to have done that. And the reason that I'm showing you what you've just made is because we're going to be working our way up the right hand side now once you've done that. And let me just show you that whole little section together once you've done it. Pause this if necessary, of course. Once you've done that, what we're going to be doing is essentially what we've just done on the left here. We're going to now be doing it from the right and building our way up. If we continue along this path, we're going to have to build downwards, and I never like that. I always prefer building up if I can help it. So, continuing on from our row of 7 that we have on the right hand side here, the mirrored version of what we have over there, what you're going to want to do is 4 upright diagonals from this most right black block here. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. On top of this 4th upright diagonal, you're going to want to go up by 3. 1, 2, 3. And I'm not sure why I've only just noticed now, but it's actually getting kind of dark, and it's going to get much darker very quickly. So I will be back in a second. We'll be continuing on directly from where we've left off. So, alright, so continuing on from our row of 4 that we've just made from the top block right here. And of course these instructions may seem a little familiar as we've already done it on the left hand side there. From this top block here, you're going to want to do an upright diagonal. Then place 4 on top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then do an up left diagonal. Place 4 on top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then do another up left diagonal. Place 2 on top. 1, 2. Then do another up left diagonal. Again, place 2 on top. 1, 2. Then do another up left diagonal. Place 1 on top. And let me just show you what you want to have made, because just as we did on the other side, after this point right here, we're going to be swapping to dark grey. So that is what you want to have. Pause that if necessary, of course. Let me just show you what it wants to look like in relation to the other side. Of course, you can just take a nice panned out view like this just to make sure that you have built it right. See if they line up together. So They seem to. I think that we've done it right so far. So continuing on, as I said, take out your dark grey, and from the top black block that we have here, you're going to want to do an up left diagonal. Then place one on top. Then do another up left diagonal. Place one on top. Then do two up left diagonals. 1, 2. From the second diagonal, you're going to want to go left of it by 10 with your dark grey. So 1, 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then going to want to do a bottom left diagonal. Go down by 2. 1, 2. And you'll notice that we've hit the outline that we made a little bit earlier, which is a good sign because we were supposed to. What you're going to want to do from this block right here, I can't really describe this block, but you can see the block right here. You're going to want to go right of this block by 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then do a bottom right diagonal. Go to the right by 2. 1, 2. Then place a white wall to the right of that dark grey. Then underneath the white, place another dark grey to give you the right bumper this time. That's what you want to have for the right bumper. Pause this if necessary, of course. Once you've done that, I just want to show you what you want to have overall, because we don't have too much of the outline left. We've just got the back part of the controller to make, like the triggers and the battery pack. So that is what you want to have so far, and of course I just want to make sure that it's all symmetrical. Make sure I've done it right, never mind about you guys. So yeah, that's everything seems to be in order so far. So once you've reached this point right here, and pause this if you want to make sure that yours is right, it's time for us to move on to the back part of the controller, which in actuality is just on top of the controller. It has nothing to do with the back. So we're going to be starting on this left hand side again. I don't know why, I'm always drawn to this left hand side. It's not my fault, guys, it's not my fault, I apologise. First thing that we're going to do, I think, is the triggers. So what you're going to want to do on top of this row of 11 that we have here, starting from the right hand side, you're going to want to be on the second block in, and you're going to want to do a row of 5 dark grey going directly up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're then going to want to do 2 up left diagonals. 1, 2. Go to the left by 1. Then do 2 bottom left diagonals. 1 and 2. And then go down until you hit the outline again. So you're going to want to have something which should look like that. Once you've done that, you're going to want to, starting from the second block of the left side of the row of 11 this time, you're going to want to, with your black wall, do 3 upright diagonals from this block here. So 1, 2, and 3, just to connect the outline to the triggers. And let me just zoom in on my plans. I'm sorry for all of the noise that you're about to hear, because I just want to make sure that I'm getting the right colours. It's a bit ambiguous how I've done it, whether it's black or dark grey, but we seem to have done it right. Good job, guys, good job. So once you've done that, here's what you're going to want to do. So this row of 5 dark grey that we have here, this most right one, closest to the middle, you're going to want to be on the middle block of the row of 5, this block right here. Going right of this middle block with your black wall still, you're going to want to go right by 2. 1, 2. Then you want to do 3 bottom right diagonals. So 1, 2, 3. You're then going to want to go right by 1, up 1. Then do 2 up right diagonals. So 1, 2. From the second upright diagonal, you're going to want to go right by 12. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You're then going to want to do 2 bottom right diagonals, so 1 and 2. Then you're going to want to go down 1, right 1. Then you're going to want to do 3 up right diagonals, so 1, 2, 3. Then you just want to finish this off by going right by 1 with your black wall. So you want to have made this little shape right here, and that shouldn't be too difficult for you whatsoever. Let me just zoom out on my plans again. I'm sorry, I don't like doing this because of the background noise, and I don't like getting too close to the microphone, but that is what you want to have made. Not too difficult whatsoever, I think. Pause that if necessary. Once you've done that, we're going to go ahead and do the right trigger. So, coming over to here, we're going to be doing the exact same thing that we've done on that side. So, again, using the same methodology, you're going to want to, starting from this left side of the row of 11 that you have here, you're going to want to, from the second block in, go up by 5 with your dark grey. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're then going to want to do 2 upright diagonals, so 1, 2. Then go to the right by 1. Then do 2 bottom right diagonals, so 1, 2. Then go down from that second bottom right diagonal until you hit the outline with your dark grey. What you then want to do is, again, the exact same thing that we did on the other side. So with your black wool, starting from the other side of your row of 11, second block in, just do 3 up left diagonal. So 1, 2, and 3, just to connect the outline to the trigger that you've just made. So you're going to want to have something which should look like that, and that is not too complicated. I think that's nice and easy. So let me just show you what this wants to look like once you've done that top portion, and of course just to make sure that both of the triggers are even. So once you've reached this point right here, and pause this if necessary, of course, you have actually done the entire outline. All we've got to do from here is just add in a few details here and about the controller. So you may want to pause this to make sure that your controller looks exactly like mine, but once you have reached this point right here, here's what we're going to do. So you're going to want to make your way to the row of 11 dark grey that we have here on the upper part of the controller, the row that I'm highlighting right now. And directly on top of this row of dark grey, you're going to want to place a row of light grey, just slap it on there. So you're going to want to have that. What you then want to do on top of the row of 11 light grey that you've just placed, coming in by 1 either side on top of it, you're just going to want to place a light grey block like this, just to mark out the second block coming in from each end of the row. Once you've done that, on top of the 2 marker blocks that you've just placed, you're going to want to go up by 3 with your light grey. So 1, 2, 3, and on the other side as well. 1, 2, 3. What you then want to do with the 2 rows of light grey that you've just formed, you're going to want to connect them together, top block to top block, with a row of dark grey directly in the middle of them. So you're going to want to have something which should look like that. Once you've done that, you're going to want to place a row of black directly on top of that row of dark grey. Then you're going to want to extend out the row of black by 1 either side with your dark grey. So you're going to want to have something which should look like that. And believe it or not, that is the only detail that we're going to have to add to the upper portion of the controller. Everything else is just solid blocks of colour. So pause this if necessary. Once you've done that, it's time for us to move on. So, sticking with our row of 11 dark grey that we have here, what you're going to want to do, underneath the row of 11 dark grey with your white wool, you're going to want to mark out the 3 middle blocks of the row, which I believe are these 3 right here. So, 1, 2, 3, 4 either side on the right side, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, those are the 3 middle blocks. You should have 4 blocks either side of your row of 3 white wool. Underneath your row of 3 white wool, that was difficult for me to say, underneath the row of 3 white wool, there we go, gold star for me, you're going to want to place a row of 3 dark green wool. Then this next part is, it's going to be somewhat hard to explain, but it's going to be really easy to see what I'm doing, so I'm just going to do it. What we're making now is the little circle with an X in it, like the Xbox logo is what I should say. I don't know why I'm trying to explain the shape. We're going to be making the little Xbox logo, so let me just show you what you want to make there. It's fairly simple, but it'd require a lot of words to explain what I'm doing. So you want to make a little circular shape like that, and the rows of dark green are just 3 in total. That shouldn't be difficult for you to make whatsoever. What you're then going to want to do is just add in the light green to make the X shape. So it's going to be easiest if we do this. So just copy what I'm doing here. No point in me trying to explain simple stuff like this. I end up getting tongue-tied and saying stupid stuff which doesn't relate, or it just or it just elongates the process. But that is what you want to do for the little lighty up Xbox logo on the controller. Should be very easy for you to do. I'm sorry that I couldn't really provide any commentary on that, but you know, you guys should be able to figure that out. You're a bright bunch of people. So pause this if necessary. Once you've done that, we're going to be making a few of the buttons. So starting from the middle block of this row of 3 that we have here on the right hand side, this row of 3 dark green, with your white wool, you're just going to want to go right of this middle block by 1. You're then going to want to do this little sequence of colours. You're going to want to do 1 dark grey, 2 light grey, 1 dark grey. Then, what you want to do, on top of and underneath the light grey, you're just going to want to place dark grey, like this. What you're then going to want to do, continuing this line right here, so to the right of this dark grey block, you're going to want to go to the right by 2 with your white wool, so 1, 2. You're then going to want to place a black block, and then you're going to want to go up on top of that black block by 1. Getting tongue-tied on left, right and centre, I apologise. So you're going to want to have a row of 2 black wool. You're then going to want to do 2 upright diagonals, so 1, 2. Go to the right by 1, then do 2 bottom right diagonals, so 1, 2. Go down by 1, then do 2 bottom left diagonals, 1, 2. Left by 1, and then finish this off by doing an up left diagonal like that, and that is going to be the X button on the controller. So let me just show you what you want to have made there. Pause that if necessary. Once you've done that, we're going to be adding in the outlines for the 3 other buttons, and in my mind it's going to be easiest if we do this. So going right of these 2 black blocks that we have here with your white wool, here's what you're going to want to do. You're going to want to make a plus shape with your white. So you're going to want to do 1, 2, 3, 4 going right, and underneath it as well, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then on top of and underneath the 2 rows of white that you've just made, you're just going to want to raise out the middle blocks to make a little white plus shape like that. And then what we're going to be doing is just making the outlines for the other 3 buttons stemming off of the white plus shape. So let me just show you what we're going to be doing. We're just going to be replicating that button right there by doing this. So that is the left edge of the button, and then the 2 upright diagonals, then 1 going right, and the bottom right diagonals, go down 1, then 2 bottom left diagonals, go left 1, and finish it off by doing an up left diagonal. I know that I did that a little quick, but all of the buttons are the same and they're really easy. I'm sure that you guys can figure that out with no trouble whatsoever, and you may be able to figure out why I've done the little white plus shape. So that is what you want to have for that right button. I'm going to quickly do the other 2 buttons. So we'll start with Y, shall we? So on top of there, then left. Very simple little shape for these buttons. It shouldn't take you long to do them whatsoever. So that is what you want for the upper button, the Y button, and you can see the other 2 in there as well. And then let's just do A, shall we? So just to add this in, and then we'll colour them in. We may as well after we've done the outline. So you're going to want to have the 4 buttons like that. They are all the exact same shape, and as you might imagine, those of you that are playing on an Xbox right now should be able to figure out which colours go where, but we're going to be adding in the colours right now because why not? So once you've done that, let's just colour them in. We'll start with A, shall we? So A, oops, controller's getting out of hand. A is just light green, and then we'll go clockwise. And this button is just dark blue. Of course, you could use any variants of colours that you like. I obviously wouldn't stray from the actual colours, but I mean, like, you could use for the blue one like cyan or light blue or lapis lazuli or whatever colour you'd like. It doesn't really matter, but of course you can use whatever colour you'd prefer. So you could use gold there, for example, or you could use like Neverbrick for the red, whichever colour you really do prefer. And once you've done that, you should be left with something that looks a little bit like that. Doesn't that look fancy? I don't know why, but it does. So alright, so that is what you want to have for the 4 buttons on the right hand side of the controller. Pause that if necessary, of course. Once you've done that, it's time for us to add in a few more details over on the left hand side. So you're going to want to come back to your Xbox logo that sits on the upper middle part of the controller. And we're going to be doing something similar on this left side that we did on the right side. So, starting from the middle block of this left row of dark green, you're going to want to go left of this block with this little sequence of colours. You're going to want to do 1 white, 1 dark grey, 2 light grey, 1 dark grey, and then just like you did on the other side, you're just going to want to place dark grey underneath and on top of the light grey to form what will be the back button. So that's what you want to have there. What you then want to do, continuing on in this line right here, going left from this dark grey, you're going to want to go left by 5 with your white wall. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you want to place a black wall. Then you're going to want to go underneath this black wall by 2 with your black, obviously. So 1, 2. Then do 2 bottom left diagonal. So 1, 2. Then go left by 3. 1, 2, 3. Then do 2 up left diagonals. 1, 2. Then go up by 3. 1, 2, 3. Then do 2 up right diagonals. So 1, 2. Go to the right by 3. 1, 2, 3. Then do 2 bottom right diagonals. So 1, and just place 1 on top there for the second diagonal to give you what is the up left analog stick. Up left analog stick, that's the worst description I've ever seen. The left analog stick on the Xbox controller. So what you want to do after you've made that shape right there, and pause that if necessary, of course, you're just going to want to fill in the middle section in with dark grey wool. I do say some stupid things. So you're just going to want to have something which should look a little bit like that, and that shouldn't be too hard for you. So let me just show you what you want to have for the details so far, since all we have to do once you have added in these is we just have to make the D-pad and the right analog stick. So we'll be starting off with the right analog stick, I believe, and of course pause this if necessary if you're still working on that, or if you want to make sure that all of your stuff's positioned correctly, whatever you need to do. Pause that if necessary. Once you've reached this point, it's time for us to do the right analog stick. So you're going to want to come down to the bottom of our controller here. So where we have this row of 11, we don't want to be here at all. We want to be on this row of 9 that we have here to the right of this row of 11. You guys should be able to see quite easily where we are. Well, what you're going to want to do on the first block of the left portion of this row of 9, you're going to want to do 2 white wool going directly up on top of this block. So 1, 2 like that. What you then want to do is place a black on top, and then do an up left diagonal of that black, then go up by 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're making the same shape that we've just made over there, by the way. So what you then want to do is 2 up right diagonals, so 1, 2, go to the right by 3, 1, 2, 3, then 2 bottom right diagonals, 1, 2, go down by 3, 1, 2, 3, then do 2 bottom left diagonals, so 1, 2. That's impressive. I'm surprised the big managed to go up here. From the second bottom left diagonal, you're just going to want to go left by 3. 1, 2, 3. I wonder if he'll be stuck there now. Probably not. No, he's not. Anyway, that is what you want to have formed there. That is the other analog stick. So once you've made that shape right there, and pause that if necessary, of course, you're just going to want to fill it in with your dark grey. So just like you did on the other one. So you're going to want to be left with something which should look a little bit like that. Pause that if necessary. Once you've done that, we're just going to go and do the D-pad over here. So the D-pad starts in a similar position on this side as the analog stick starts on that side. So starting from this block right here, you're going to want to go up on top of this block by 2 with your white, so 1, 2. You're then going to want to do a black wall, and unfortunately this shape isn't the same as what we've been making. You're then going to want to do an upright diagonal from this black, so like that. Then go up by 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then do 2 up left diagonals, so 1, 2. Go to the left by 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then do 2 bottom left diagonals, 1, 2. Go down by 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 bottom right diagonals, so 1, 2. And then go to the right by 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, which should connect you together back with the white and finish off the little D-pad. So Unfortunately for me, the D-pad isn't exactly easy to explain in terms of colouring. It's not just simply dark grey wool. However, you will be needing a new colour for it, so discard black or any of the other colours really. Well, not all of the other colours, will be needing some of them. Discard black, you won't be needing that again. And grab stone. That's right, stone. You're going to want to do this. This is hard for me to explain, so honestly I'm not even going to bother. I'm just going to do it, and then you guys should quite clearly be able to see what I'm doing. Now, stone probably isn't the best colour for this, but once I've done it, and you might agree with me, once I did it on my original, I actually quite liked it. It doesn't particularly look like the D-pad, if I'm going to be truthful, but in my eyes, it looks good. I like it, and it's not light grey wool as well. Like, it needs to be a shade darker than light grey, and I don't know. I like the stone. I like what it does. It kind of gives it that textured look. I don't know. Maybe I'm on my own, but that is what you want to do for the D-pad, and of course you can use whatever colour you would prefer instead of stone. Perhaps you would like to use light grey, or perhaps clay, or whatever colour you want. All that matters is that you have a shape and pattern that looks like that. And once you've done that, ladies and gentlemen, let me just give you a bit of a look at what we've done. So that is the Xbox controller nigh on finished. All we've got to do is just add a few sweeps of colour here and about the controller. So pause this if necessary. Once you've reached this point right here, I actually just have to point out a few things before we do actually go into mass colour mode. So you would see it after I've coloured it in, but I just want to point it out here and now. So coming up to the top of the controller, left of the triggers, how we have these 3 empty blocks, well, you might think that white goes there, however light grey actually goes in there, so right there. And then on the other side as well, just place in light grey. And then everything else is actually quite self-explanatory. I just wanted to make sure that you guys got that right. I just wanted to point that out. So you just want to throw light grey in the little L and the J shapes that we have on the outer parts of the triggers, and then everything else is quite simply this little middle section here with the battery pack with this little bit of detailing. I believe an adapter goes in there. I think that's what that's supposed to be. All of that is just light grey, and then the triggers themselves and the bumpers are white, and the rest of the controller is white. So I will be back once I've finished in the colours. I don't know why I had to go into that massive explanation. I apologise. So I'll be back once it's all coloured in. So this is what the controller should look like once it's completely coloured in. As you can see, it's a very simple colour scheme. You've just got to add light grey to that top middle section and light grey to the little bits either side of the triggers, but then everything else is just white wool. It will probably take you a little while to do, because honestly it is quite a big piece of pixel art, but I wouldn't say that it's too complicated. Nor is any part of the controller, as a matter of fact. I think it's one of the simpler pieces of pixel art. I mean, the outline isn't too complicated whatsoever, and then all of the details are actually kind of straightforward. They're in somewhat logical places, so hopefully you guys didn't have too much trouble building this. I was thinking about different colour schemes for this whilst I was filling it in, and if you guys wanted to be a little experimental, if you guys wanted to make it like, I don't know, like blue or green or maybe even black, I think that those colours would actually work. Black might be somewhat difficult, but you would be able to make the controller like any colour that you have 2 tones of. Like, if you wanted to make it blue, you would use like dark blue, I think, for the maybe where you've placed light grey, and you would use something like cyan where you've placed white or whatever. But I think that it'd be cool if you guys tested out some different colour combinations. I love it when you guys take stuff that I've made and then tweak it a little bit, make it your own. But anyway, hopefully you guys had an easy enough time making this. Hopefully it was easy enough to follow. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, maybe you should think about subscribing. I have plenty more stuff like this on my channel. I have tutorials ranging from YouTube statues, skin statues, houses, pixel art, the list goes on. Thanks for watching.